start with Caroline, and then I'm going to go to Christina and then Katie. So Caroline, what are the biggest challenges you faced so far?
That's going to be a rubbish one. I think just convinced that just that tiny little edge of, am I doing the right thing and am I going to get egg on my face? It basically, if I quit and walk away and try and do things on my own and it fails, and all of those people that said to me, keep that secure job and that secure pension and that secure stuff are right. I don't want to have to listen to a chorus of I told you so. And maybe that's a silly one, but that for me was just that edge of standing on the edge and taking that step.
But it's also a motivating factor, no? So you like, I find like that is do you find the fear is also a driver?
There's an adrenaline in it for wanting to prove, that's what Katie's saying also. It's like all these people telling you not to. Maybe that's a personality thing amongst us, I don't know, but that sort of fills you with drive to want to say, well, actually I can do it. And then once you get the small rewards along the way, I think you live off of that adrenaline and you live off of that momentum and you take a little extra step, and it's easier to take more risk, I guess, because you start to see the reward from it. I don't think it's that risky, not if you don't burn your bridges. You can always go backwards.
Yeah, just always make sure you leave on good terms. So you may need to ask you a job back. I did do that with Mace. Yeah. Christina, how about you?
Well, since I started business, there has been challenges along the way, and then most of them they seem to work out after I try and error. But my biggest challenge, I have to say, is the recruitment. I didn't appreciate when you work for big company, there is a big massive HR team who really working very hard to help you to recruit the right people. And now, like when I now to join the recruitment, I've been trying the past few years, and then accept that I'm so rubbish at it, and so I'm still learning, and then probably had to get some help to learn how to be. As I say, it's like accounting, I learned it okay, marketing, I'm getting it, but now with HR is my biggest challenge, and I'm really struggle with it. But I have planned of actions like to try to get better. Yeah.
Katie?
I guess, well, probably for the first 6 months, I wondered what the hell I was doing, and I go back to recruitment. But I think probably one of the hardest things I always found was, that negativity that I talk about. So I like people that like me. I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit of a people pleaser. I like it when people like me, and then and realizing that a lot of people don't actually like me just because of what I do. And people who don't even know me don't like me. It's a it's a really strange concept for me. Somebody set up a hate site on Facebook. It went really, but people you've never met. It's very strange for me, and I always find that a bit of a battle. And people in my same company who I work for don't like me, even though they've never met me. It's generally people who believe you're getting something over them when reality you're not. You're just putting yourself out there. But yeah, I find that really hard.
Yeah, that's awful about the Facebook groups. Nothing more surprising than people. Alex has asked, where did you start your networking journeys and how did you start those conversations? So I'm going to go for Christina on this one because you're quite big on networking.
Well, I start networking just by trying whatever I can find from Eventbrite, and it didn't work out very well. But I think it's like I find it's more useful is when you go to networking event, you ask the people who you think is related to your sector, and then ask them what other networking they go to. So I find in this kind of referral scheme, I gradually calibrate my direction to be more in line, because I remember like the first year when I do networking, I will always find I'm the only engineer in the whole event. And I was always thinking about where are other people, because I never get to meet other engineer, and always wondering, am I in the wrong place? But and then gradually you find the people, the group you met with, and now I become quite selective. It's like I only go to the networking event when I think I'm going to enjoy it in a way. It has come a long way because I remember the first year I give out at least 2,000 business cards. I go to anything I can go to. And the successful rate of people come back to me probably about 1 to 2%, but at least it's not zero. And then you gradually build on it. Yeah.
Cool. Because Christina and Katie, you've both go even to the exhibition, because you both kind of go to London Build as well. I know both of you have talked about that being quite a good event. So like going to events. So Katie, like moving kind of on to you within that networking in terms of starting it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think events like London Build and UK Construction Week are really good place. They usually do kind of like little bits where you can meet up with everyone and have a coffee and a bit of breakfast and things. I'm really awkward in these situations, by the way. I don't thrive off of networking in person. I skirt around the outsides. I drink coffee. I eat food until people talk to me. But I feel like it's a necessary evil. And, you know, networking opens doors, and the more people you meet and the more people you come into contact with, the more doors will open, the more people that will ask you to get involved with different things. So I do it, but I wouldn't say I'm great at it.
I don't think anyone is, though. And my theory is everyone is terrified at those events. It isn't a normal state of being to walk into a room of strangers and be able to, you know, sell your services like it's absolutely nothing. And actually, if you remember that when you walk into one of those rooms, it's like everyone's really uncomfortable. You know, there's no one there that loves it. There's no one there that thrives in that environment. And actually, you know, ignore perhaps there's 5% of people that actually are. But I think that's freeing, because actually you're just like, well, everyone's scared. So let's just talk about how scared we are and how awkward this is. And how strange it is for a bunch of strangers to meet in a giant base and talk about what they do for work.
Talk about this. I was just thinking that I don't know if it will help. Like now when I go to networking event, I don't see it in the way of selling myself and selling the company. Now I go to networking event, I just have these mentalities of I met people and then like see what people they want to connect with, and I went in the attitude of who I have in my network can help them. So I went in the networking event of it's really like mostly just kind of like meeting interest people. If like more like a matchmaker, I just go to see who in my network I can match them with, because then I help the people I know and help them as well. And then along the way, if we have a nice conversation, we get to know each other, because it is like people say network event is like speed dating. You can't really hoping you're going to go out with someone from speed dating straight away. You need to gradually build up. And I find like that if I go with the mentality of I'm just going helping people, I get less nervous, and also I feel less resistance to go to this kind of event.
Great. The Bob's asked a question about how we can knock down the barriers to entry for young construction entrepreneurs, which has got 2 thumbs ups as well. So, Katie, knocking down barriers.
Oh, I mean, I can't talk about being an entrepreneur, but I mean, there's plenty of barriers for young people in construction. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lack of awareness around industry, around job roles, and you know, and I hate people who say it's not all hard hats and muddy boots, because that's a big chunk of work as well. So let's not push that to the side. Yeah, it's a really hard one, and you know, there's a lot of problems we have, especially on the ground in workforce. There's a lot of problems with hours and expected work and the way we treat people. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed that young people, modern people coming into industry don't want to work the same way we've worked anymore. They just don't want to do it.
Is it now that, and Sarah, you talk about this, you know, you've started a construction tech company, and I think actually as construction industry is sort of famously not doing that as quickly as a lot of other industries, and actually I feel like there's opportunity there, because you know, it's slightly changing, like the way that construction looks is changing. So when an industry sort of transforms, there's opportunities to jump in there and to find opportunities and gaps, because there is so much sort of movement in the way that people accepting things are done, and there are so many little gaps, and things have been done the same way for such a long time. Actually, you know, any tender, any procurement exercise will always scream for innovation. I don't think that everybody knows what that word means, but for me, that is opportunity. That's opportunity to jump in and say, try doing it this way, or I've worked somewhere else and this has saved me lots of time, or you know, here's a new approach. I think that's, I don't know if that's going to help break down barriers, but it's, you know, there's an opportunity, I think, for change, and hopefully.
I think, you know, it's having conversations that are more open. It's like in particular, I didn't even know construction tech was a thing when I worked in construction. So I was like, first of all, it's like, and I think the biggest thing for me is around like, it's asking questions of people who've got more information than you, and surrounding yourself. And I think you can just reach out to those people. Most of the time, as Christina's already alluded to it, if you're not selling something, you're asking for something, for somebody to be like, you have this, I would really appreciate just 15 or 30 minutes of your time on, because I would really appreciate some advice on that. And whether that's at a networking event or reaching out on LinkedIn or going to kind of whatever, I think that is really key, because it's finding the people, knowing what questions you need to ask, and then finding people who have or may be able to help you with the answers.
I love that, actually. Christina said it, and I said selling, and actually you're entirely right. It's not. It's an exchange, because actually a lot of the time, it's you know, someone gets something, someone else gets something, and that's what building your network is. And as you have that coffee with someone, they'll remember that you were a civil engineer or whatever you were doing when they move to their next company, or there's a gap on a project and they urgently need, you know, someone to fill in, or they need someone that they can trust, or frankly they just need a team member that fits and is personable and they know is going to bring up and make it an enjoyable workspace. Like, I think there's also value in that. So I think networking is also, reminded by Christina, is about surrounding yourself by people who have similar views and similar purpose and similar drive, and that's, you know, that's also where you feed off of people doing new things or innovative things. And again, that I think is how we break barriers, is more people trying to do things differently collect. You know, we do more chats like this, we build sort of communities around it, and just talk, because talking breeds ideas.
Well, I think I was just thinking about like the question on how the younger generation going to construction is kind of echo with what we're trying to do in Matter is because now we're trying to do the recruitment process, and we do want, because we want to do something differently, we actually want to attract certain type of people who doesn't want to do things in the traditional way, and we don't want to train people how the construction is the apprenticeship way of how you treat people in the past. And I think like people are aware that in order to attract, I mean, more and more people are aware, in order to attract younger people to come to construction, we have to start do things differently. So it's kind of helping each other. Is if you don't, like as a younger person want to go into a construction, don't make yourself to be the people who want you to be, because you have to let us know what do you want, and then the industry will also kind of calibrate that, and gradually will find a way to fit. The majority of the construction might still quite be traditional, but I think the people who are here today is the people who want to start making a change, and we also need people to want to get into it, to be on board with us as well.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think I'm going to let this overrun a little bit, because there is actually some really good questions. Just on that, there's a question on recruitment and around sharing any specific tips and tricks and finding a diverse panel of candidates. So I think, Christina, you've mentioned that you've struggled to kind of recruit, and Katie, I know you had a LinkedIn post, I think last week, talking around you had 2 no-shows on a Monday morning or something. So I think, can you talk a little bit more about, you know, the question around specific tips and tricks on finding a more diverse panel of candidates? I think it is so important. I'm going to start with go. Sorry, that's the thing. That's bad hosting on my part. Apologies, Christina, and then I'm going to go to Katie.
Yeah, I think that's why like we would really want to. I mean, like I always try to work with diversity team, and it's really powerful. And that's why I want to have that in matters. But we has been struggle to give out the message of it. And I think that's why the social media can help. That's why like with my team, like with our next newsletter is to try to see like if we can get out, like make our message louder of we want to attract diversity people. And also in the way is we want to show people why we think we have the environment is already ready to have the diversity people to work with us and to grow with us. And so it's again, it's both things because it is so important. It have to come together, both the candidate and the people who trying to recruit it.
Katie?
It's impossible. Honestly, it's impossible. It's the problem is, like Christina said, the industry is so far behind in selling itself in a meaningful way that it makes recruiting a diverse population of people almost impossible. I mean, you know, there's so many other places people can go and work at the moment, and in tech, and it's all very exciting. And the construction industry, sadly, we're still being very missold, and it doesn't, you know, until that message changes, and until it's the problem is everyone works very singular. All these big companies, Mace, Langer Rook, we all work very singular, trying to sell the same thing in a slightly different way. If we all pulled together and sold the message a bit more meaningfully as an industry, it would be a lot more productive. It's really, anyone who's trying to recruit anyone for any role and get a diverse population of people in, I feel sorry for you, because it's like you said, I had 2 no-shows on Monday for a traineeship, and then I had another one turn up at 2 p.m. Who didn't know what the job was. So it was it wasn't a great day, but yeah, we need to work a lot harder as an industry to change that.
I think there's so much more kind of still to kind of be like doing there and around kind of championing diversity. Right, I'm going to begin to like kind of wrap this up with one last question of like, what's your number one tip for addressing the challenge of trying to get everything perfect at the start before fully committing to your idea? Oh wow, I mean, this is a good one. So Caroline, I'm going to start with you. Number one top tip for addressing the challenge of trying to get everything perfect at the start before fully committing.
Accept that it's never going to be perfect before you fully commit. I think make sure you're looked after. So this is my take care of yourself. Make sure you can pay your rent. Make sure you've got a bit of money stocked up. Make sure you've not got any big massive changes, because not to romanticize all of this, financial stress is not fun. We're all struggling with it. So I think be sensible about when you take leaps, but it will never feel like a perfect time. Just like on a project, there's never a good time to go on a holiday. People say you can't take time off then, you can't take time off then. Nothing's going to align for it to feel like the right time, but obviously be sensible, I think. And everyone knows it's different for everybody, and we're all in different situations. And I think you know yourself best. Don't put yourself under undue stress.
Christina?
Yeah, I also like, financial is the important thing because we all have to make a living. So like before I set up, I make sure that is the minimum outgoing I can have, and then how long with my saving is going to last me. And most important thing, you have to get support from your family, because I was very honest with my husband saying that I'm probably not going to be able to contribute much. I'm trying to pay the basis I can, but he's supporting me because hopefully in the future when the company is doing well, then we can balance it out. But it's very important even to have someone, like even you're single, just to have a like counterpart, a friend or a family or partner to support you is important. And also accept that it's never going to be perfect. That's why I have a bracelet. Now I have my mantra every day is as long as I try the best as I can, I don't mind what happens.
That's great. That's an awesome mantra. And I think, yeah, you just have to put something out, learn from it and see and that's the hardest part, is accepting it. As they've said, it's not perfect, but I think, yeah, Katie, to conclude, like, anything else on that?
Yeah, I think I took on a lot less risk than you guys, just a career change. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think it echoes what Caroline and Christina said. It's about taking that leap. And it is a leap of faith whenever you go into anything. And I'm not as well planned as either of you. I'm a leaper. I'm terrible with money. I'm terrible at most things, and I tend to throw myself at it and do everything I can do. But yeah, there was a lot less risk involved with what I do. But it's, for me, with anything, it's about taking a chance, and it's about taking a chance on yourself and trusting yourself that things are going to work out.